think civilians should have AR-15s?
Well, that's an easy question for me to answer, and that is no.
And John, do you think civilians should be able to have AR-15s?
Yes, I have one. Come get it.
Are you ready, John?
You put the bullet in like this. You push it down. It's 30.
John Moore
I could pull my finger, bang, 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 bang.
and Gene Moore
I own about 14 guns. I only use about one.
are brothers. Brothers who happen to know a lot about guns.
That's cool as hell.
I know.
Look at this. Look at the bullet there.
Yeah. I think that it's a cultural thing. We grew up in western Pennsylvania. We loved hunting season because it was when we got to spend time with our father.
But here they come. Come on, guys.
The two men grew up in the country,
Okay, this is a chicken coop.
in a part of the U.S. where hunting was sacred and shooting was a favorite pastime.
These are my gun safes.
Combined, the two have fired dozens of weapons, and they've seen thousands of gunshot wounds.
The most common bullet we see is the 9mm. And this is the 9mm bullet there.
The injuries and deaths they've observed haven't been in the field, they've been in the operating room.
Gunshot to the head, neck, chest, abdomen. Basically, a lot of suicides.
Back in the gang war days, I mean, we saw gunshots every day.
Together, the brothers have about 75 years of experience as trauma surgeons. John, Harvard educated,
Come here, guys.
and now retired. And Gene,
This is a celebration to designate a new name for our trauma center in honor of Dr. Gene Moore.
a world-renowned trauma surgeon whose more than 40 years at the Colorado Hospital Denver Health led to the renaming of the trauma center after him.
There are many times driving home, I'm thinking to myself, man, am I lucky to be given what skills I have and to be able to do what I did tonight. We're absolutely appalled.
Dr. Gene Moore served as chief of surgery after two shooters at Columbine High School killed 13 people and wounded 21 others.
But then I realized it was real.
He helped Lance Kirkland recover from 5 gunshot wounds, including a devastating blast to the face.
Very friendly, very knowledgeable guy, likable guy.
He was a god in my eyes because he saved my son's life. But he also was just a down-to-earth man that had compassion.
Dr. Moore's compassion for victims and families pushed him to become more involved in gun violence prevention and the study of firearm injuries and deaths.
It's a combination of innocent children attending school that were caught by the ravages of their classmates who were deranged. That to me was a moment in which I said, yeah, this has got to end. This can't happen again. And of course, that was just a start.
During his career, he's published more than 1,700 scientific articles and editorials, many related to the effects of gunshot wounds.
When it comes out, see how big it is here?
As much as they agree about what might save a life,
If you get shot in the lung, the bullet goes through and the lung can go back into its shape. But the liver has no cohesiveness.
The injuries aren't dramatically different with handguns, whereas there is a exponential difference when it comes to a rifle like an AR-15 wound.
the two trauma surgeons are on opposite sides of the table when the discussion turns to weapons.
But I don't think civilians should have access to an assault-type rifle because I think it has the potential for destructive violence in a mass of people who are innocent.
And the reason
See,
why
I need to speak up. To use the word assault rifle is a misnomer. An AR-15 is not an assault rifle. Anybody that hears that word immediately thinks it's bad. Handgun, shotgun, good. Assault rifle, bad.
I think there is, again, some ambiguity to what an assault rifle is. But I think that it's the concept of a gun being designed to kill multiple people in a short time period.
That's one of the, again, misconceptions is that everybody's being shot with this. I bet 85% minimum of homicides are committed with handguns as opposed to rifles.
Our analysis of data collected by the FBI in 2015, 16, and 17 found when the type of gun is known, on average, handguns are used in homicides across the United States about 92% of the time. FBI data shows the type of gun is unknown in about 30% of firearm homicide cases they've collected. The two doctors used ballistic gelatin to demonstrate the potential impact of each weapon on a human body.
This is what's going to happen in the tissues, as close as we can.
Depending on the bullet, its velocity, and where it makes contact.
Just the angle of entry and the deflection. Some of these, like AKs, it hits the skin and it immediately starts it tumbling and yawing and all that. So
Explain what awing is too. So we've heard tumbling. I can picture what that is. What is awing?
Yawing is
up and down like this.
It's
No.
spirals like this.
Or up and down.
Wounds can look very different.
This is the pathway of the bullet, you see, and it's relatively stable there, becomes unstable, and then it really starts tumbling here.
This one is from an AR-15.
But you see, all that tissue from that side over here is destroyed. This entire area is destroyed compared to the handgun, which is more like this. The idea is that the amount of tissue damage you see all here is related to the kinetic energy of the bullet.
From a farther distance, they also demonstrated a hunting rifle called the 300 Weatherby. And at a closer range, a .44 Magnum revolver and a 9mm pistol.
What do you notice with the tissue on a human body?
They see a hole like this.
Small entry point and then it expands.
So then when you open the person up, then
Then you see the damage. In the operating room, this is what we'd see. It's not a matter of, what's the most dangerous bullet. It really is, how can you deliver the potential energy to kill people in a short time period? And I think that's a big confusion in society.
3, 2, 1.
The brothers also demonstrated how quickly rounds could be fired from various guns. John fired 6 rounds from his semi-automatic handgun
2.75.
in 2.75 seconds. Gene was able to shoot half the number of bullets, 3, from his elk hunting rifle and 30 bullets from the AR-15 in about 7 seconds. John fired all 30 from the AR-15 in about 10 seconds.
30 bullets, you could easily kill 20 people in 10 seconds. And you talk about getting quick response. I don't care who is available or what kind of alert system you have. The devastation is overwhelming with that kind of capacity to shoot.
He's got some good arguments, but I have an AR-15 and I enjoy it. The sad facts are that a criminal is going to get a gun. And what I'm hearing, it bothers me, is that the law-abiding citizens are now being threatened. It's not going to change the criminal. There are other issues. How can my innocent little babies go to school and not have protection? You can't go to the bank. You can't go to the airport. You can't go to a lot of places without armed security. And why can't children have armed security or some?
How is it that you two, highly educated men with trauma surgery experience, are able to sit down with slightly different opinions and have a decent conversation about this, and the rest of the world is not?
It just isn't politics. It's a matter of trying to sit down with people and have facts and try to figure out how we can avoid the continued carnage we see in schools. We're not going to break up brotherhood because he's pro and I'm anti. We can almost laugh about our differences.
Do you have any final thought on that?
I don't know. He sounded pretty rational to me. I mean, he's signing up to ban him myself after listening to him. No, I
don't believe that.
No, it makes sense to me that there are so many issues in society that are backed on emotion and not fact. And we need research.
What'd you do with my bullet?
While they don't always support each other's opinion,
If I'm going into a fight, man, I'm going in with 6.
the two brothers do support having a civil conversation and discussing solutions that will ultimately bring fewer gunshot patients, especially school children, into the trauma room.